Hey Tuskegee and hey United States. This is Tuskegee Online, Pat Wallace here, and we're sitting down with the High Sheriff of Macon County, Alabama, Mr. Andre Brunson. Today we're going to be discussing and following up on some conversations that we've had in the past. We had a recent high profile killing of a black man who was unarmed in Rochester, New York. His name was Daniel Prude, and we brought this up on the Sheriff's Report, which is on Tuskegee Virtual. And we discussed this, and we said we were going to bring you some more information when we found out about it. So, Mr. Brunson, Sheriff Brunson, could you please tell us what are your thoughts on this case in Rochester?
Well, first of all, I got to say, I'm pro-police. I'm definitely pro-police. I think that and I know that there are way more good police than there are bad police. Sometimes, these things happen for a different reason, but this case was definitely not what it should have been from what I saw on the video. Mr. Prude was walking, he didn't have any clothes on. You can definitely tell in what I see that he had a few mental issues. He definitely was in compliance. You can hear him being very polite, yes sir, no sir. You heard that on the video, and then all of a sudden the voice, the sound went off. But Mr. Pruitt got on, they told him to lay down, get on his knees. They laid him on the cold ground, they put the handcuffs on him, so he wasn't a threat at all once they got the handcuffs on him. But he was complying with what they said. And the next thing you know, they put what they call a spit hood is what they said it was. If he was trying to spit on him, putting on the spit hood was the right thing to do. But I don't see why the guy rolled the spit hood up and closed it down so he couldn't get any air. That's the first thing that I saw was wrong. If Mr. Pruitt was spitting or trying to spit, which it didn't show any evidence of him doing it, but to put something over his head and close it down to shut the air off was definitely wrong. They got down on him and placed his face in the ground and pressed him down with no air. There's nothing in our books, nothing anybody compliant said that is procedure to do that. So in the event, Mr. Pruitt died. And I think they need to be held accountable for that. We got to stop all these killings. I say I'm pro-police. I'm pro-police. But to not follow procedures, and I know they have a procedure book, and that wouldn't be in nobody's procedures to do that. And I think, my opinion, that they were wrong in doing that. Anytime you see this and it seems, and there are white people dying too, I'm all for right. These are wrong procedures when it comes to white, black, purple, or green. That's wrong in any shape and fashion. I'm not with that coming from any police officers. But I tell everybody, you got good officers and you got bad officers. Some officers just not going to do right. I don't care who it is and what they do. But the majority of the police officers are good police officers who are out here to protect and serve. And it hurts our credibility. It hurts our credibility to the communities and to the nation when we're not doing right, when we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And I'm not with that at all.
Well, Sheriff, let me ask you something. Last night on our show, before the show, we discussed the fact that this summer of events has cost many police chiefs their jobs.
Yes.
Many of them have been African Americans. Several have been women of color. Mm-hmm. And how do you see that? What does that look like? Because it seems like this activity is escalating this summer. How do you feel about that?
I mean, after George Floyd, everything kind of escalated, and I think the pressures of being the leader in these departments where these things happen, puts a lot of pressure on those chiefs. Sometimes it's because people are suggesting and requiring that these police chiefs step down because of what's happening in their department. I don't know if especially they can't handle the pressures, but one of the things I see and one of the problems is they're talking about defunding the police departments. And I know one young lady out in Seattle said that was one of the reasons she was stepping down because they were losing officers, defunding them, sending the money elsewhere. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's right. We need all the police officers, especially now. With what's going on, we need good police officers. Directly you can say it's the chief's fault because of leadership. But indirectly, I don't really think so because you have officers. It's a small percentage of officers that's not there to do what's right. And I say again, it's a small percentage of officers, and you can't say, yeah, the chiefs need to know who they have working for them. The sheriffs need to know who they have working for them. You go through the trainings; they should be trained to do this. They should be trained to do that. But sometimes things like that slip by, and you're gonna have some bad police officers just not gonna follow procedure. And I don't think it's fair to the police chiefs. I know they're under a lot of pressure. I know they're there to do the right things. Nobody wants this coming out of their departments. But yeah, you've had, how many did we count that have resigned because of the pressures and because of what's going on?
27.
27.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. We need these leaders. We need that experience. I can see it if they directly caused this to happen. They directly were negligent in their duties, but not necessarily.
What do you see as the difference? Because we've also discussed this on the show about the difference in culture regarding the sheriff's departments and the police departments and how they seem to be managed a little differently, and the culture follows the leadership. What do you see as the main difference in those two?
Well, I can't say it's a difference in police and sheriffs as far as the culture, but one of the things I can speak on is what I try to do. I try to have my guys follow my lead. I care about the community, and I let them know we're not going to have any nonsense, doing the wrong things, beating people up, being disrespectful, and doing those things. We try to train, we try to talk about these things, and we have what we call community policing. And one of the things I do, I'm going to go through what these guys do when I hire them. I let them know, you got to be part of the community as I am. And I let them know during the hiring process, I'm not going to have, them out here arguing with the citizens and stuff. It's called respect. You have to earn respect. We can't go out there and demand respect. We have to earn respect. And you got to be a part of this community to actually work here. You got to know these people, and they got to know you. The community can't just see us when we're coming out to arrest somebody or do something to the people in their family. They need to see us during the good times. We need to be out there during Christmas. We need to be out there when they're having hard times. We need to be out there at the football games, basketball games. One of the things we do, and you see it all the time, we're out there passing out food. We're out there stopping in the community, going to homes, sitting on the porch, talking to people. We try to be very active in the community, and that helps. We want to be on a one-on-one basis with these families and these kids. And one great thing, we have a small community, so it's easier for us to do that than it is in a larger city and for the larger people who don't get a chance to see these people every day like we do. They don't get a chance to go to church with them like we do every day. They don't get a chance to be in the square with them, having parades and different things like that and being definitely involved in that. So it is an advantage for us to be a small community where we know people. Hey, I was the school resource officer for 23 years before I became the sheriff. Got a chance to be in the homes, got a chance to talk to these kids, to families, and be with them throughout the generations before I became the sheriff. And I wanted to pass that on to my men. Hey, you got to know the community. You got to know the people. And when we go out to a call, it's not personal. We're there for a reason. It's not for us to make a decision on what's happening. We're here to enforce the law the best way we can, protect the people, protect their property. And we go out there, we can't be mad because we were called out there. We have to go out there and have an open mind, deal with the situation, and not take it personal.
Well, Sheriff, let me ask you this: in a perfect world, in a good scenario, let's say Sheriff Andre Brunson has an opportunity to change anything in law enforcement anywhere in the country. What would be the biggest thing? What would be the first thing that you would change in the culture to prevent some of this from happening?
Better training. I graduated from Tuskegee University in social work, criminal justice, and I think I kind of understand what's going on. You got to look at it more deeply. I care about what's going on. I know that people have problems, and some of these problems are due to social problems they're having. We got to consider that everybody wants to feed their families. Everybody wants to have a good family. And sometimes these crimes are committed because they don't have. And we have to look deeply into what's going on. We just can't go out there and, arrest people and arrest people and arrest people and not get to the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Poverty is a part of the problem. Socially, what's going on in the nation is part of the problem. So we have to look deeply in that, and we have to educate our guys into handling these problems as a social worker, as a teacher, as a person that's there to solve a problem, not somebody just there to arrest somebody. Training is a key.
Understood. Sheriff, last night on the program, we had a serious discussion about unity in the community.
Yeah.
And all of us coming together. How would you translate that to other communities? How would you bring that message to other people in other places? I mean, we are a small community.
Yeah.
But if you could do this in other places, what would you say to them? How would you communicate that?
I would say all the leaders need to sit down and talk about it, talk about working together, for the betterment of the community. Put all your egos aside and know what we're here for as leaders. For us, I say again, we're a small community, so I know all the chiefs, and we sit down and we talk. We might have lunch together, and we try to do that at least once a week, having lunch together, talk about the issues we have here. We try to put our egos aside, and that's hard to do sometimes for men because everybody have their own ideas about how they want things run, how they want to do things, and I do understand that. And that's the sheriff, who's the lead law enforcement officer in this county. I know I need to give them their space. But also they need to understand that I am the sheriff. And if people call me for help, people don't feel safe, then I got to step in and do what I need to do because it's my authority to do so. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes and let them know, hey, we're here to work together. But if the job is not getting done, it's my job to do it. It's my job to make sure that everybody in the county feels safe, and they need to understand my point and my position in this. But we all work together. We don't have a problem. Everybody, like I said, have to put their egos aside and say, look, we're here for the betterment of the community. It's not personal. It's for the safety of everybody in this community. And if everybody can do that, I don't care where you are, you have a better community.
Well, thank you, Sheriff Brunson. I think that's a good stopping point for us.
Right.
For our community and for the world at large. If you want to hear more about what Sheriff Brunson is doing in Macon County and hear more about what we are doing as a community to keep each other safe, you can tune in every Thursday night on Tuskegee Virtual and see the Macon County Sheriff's Report. And I encourage you to like and share that because we're doing special things in the community. I think Sheriff Brunson, you're doing some great stuff.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we're definitely seeing you getting recognized on our forum. And so keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to see you next Thursday on the Macon County Sheriff's Report.
Look
Tune
forward
in
to it.
Yes. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.